Even though the market reception a little lower than you probably hope, what's your feeling about how investors are treating day one?
I think, first of all, it is clearly a very exciting day for us. It's a milestone event for our company, and we look forward to delivering long-term value to our shareholders in the public markets for a long time to come.
Now, how are you going to do that, and how are you going to improve margins going forward as a publicly listed company? It's going to be a different struggle now.
I think, as we spelled out in our company's mission, what we care deepest about is to deliver amazing products and sell them at honest prices to our users. We think that by focusing on our users and making sure that this is as user-centric a company as we can, and focusing on efficiency and innovation, we are very confident that the future looks very bright for us.
Now, obviously, you don't believe that the valuation is too high, but a lot of investors do believe it is valued too high, even though you did scale back the IPO. Some question whether you're an internet company or you're a hardware company. What are you?
Our conclusion was that we are actually a new species. We are an internet company that can do e-commerce and hardware well at the same time. I don't think there's anything like us in the market before.
And how are you going to go from getting about 80% of your revenue right now is in hardware and handsets, lower margin handsets? And Lei Jun has spelled out a vision. He wants to build out the ecosystem of services and video, music, and other things. How are you going to, and over what time frame do you see the revenue mix changing?
So internet services for us is first and foremost to provide a better user experience for our users. And then on top of this basis, we have found that it's a very highly monetizable source for us as well. Last year, we were at about 8.6% of our revenue, internet service as a whole. And by the first quarter, this has risen closer to 10%. So the trend is that this is becoming a bigger part of our revenue going forward.
And Lei Jun also said he wants to get eventually more than 50% of revenue from overseas markets. And I would assume not just selling handsets, from services. India, you're doing well, but where would the priority be? And how would you crack the U.S. market?
I think for internet services, the priority for us is always to make sure that the user experience is good. So we are starting to do this internationally, including in India and in Indonesia. And we think that over the course of the next few years, we're going to expand this to other countries that we operate in as well.
How are you being negatively impacted sentiment-wise by the trade war between China and the United States?
We are long-term positive, very optimistic about the relationship between China and the U.S., and we are sure it will be sorted out in time. Right now, we don't have operations in the U.S., so the impact is very minimal.
I know it's a sensitive issue, too, but the CDR had to scrap that. Will that be resolved over time? And what time frame are you looking at?
Well, we just got listed here in Hong Kong this morning, so I think anything CDR related, we'll go back and take stock and discuss going forward.
Okay. Can I ask you kind of an accounting question? You are the CFO.
Of course.
Why do you lump investment profits in as operating profits instead of as a non-operating item? Does that tell us that these investments are very much a key to the business model?
The way we think about our investment strategy is that we focus on things that we're very good at, and everything else that we don't need to focus on, we actually invest in companies for them, to incubate them to do these products for us. This includes physical products and includes services as well. So, because of this, we have accumulated a very valuable portfolio over the last few years. And I think investors will see that this portfolio is going to become very valuable as we start to monetize it in the future via selling down in the market over the long period of time.
Do you consider this maybe was a bad timing listing right now, or was it a matter of you had to list now? I think the last round of financing was in 2014. How critical was this listing for you?
I think the IPO event itself is a very important landmark event for a company's evolution, into a bigger company. And for us, what we need to focus on is the long-term value of what we can deliver. I think short-term fluctuations and timing of the market are things that are important, but not the priority for us.